When I make my videos, I don't exactly do this, but I do have an urge to do so, which is to actually do some research on the matter and to be able to know what I'm talking about, basically. I don't know if in this video is really necessary, and I don't know if it's even possible for me to, in a short amount of time, be able to speak on this like with the most authority possible for me. But I want to talk about a prediction that I've had for a very long time on video games, and this is probably like a really good time to say it because recently, um, Darth Vader was added into Fortnite as an artificial intelligence character that you can interact with. You can speak to it, and it can give you some responses. Like it is not a real human being, but it is as if it was just another player like you. But it is in character. It is replying to you, not as your friend, but as Darth Vader. And I've seen just a few clips on TikTok. I think it's really funny. There was some things that it said that the developers found like it shouldn't be that way. So basically, they put some restrictions on it so that he cannot say like swear words and stuff like that. To put it quite simply, I heard that in PUBG and in No Man's Sky, AI was also added recently. I think that's because I just tried to research it really quickly on ChatGPT just like not long ago, and that's what appeared. And yeah, this is pretty cool, to say the least. I think in GTA 5, it was attempted to, some person probably attempted to do this, to put like AI into the characters so that you could literally speak to the characters as if you were playing. And basically, you could tell in the video, the guy was asking it to like, oh, we have to break out of the system, we have to do this, this, and that. And the character was like, no, we can't. But that is just like some very like specific detail about something that I saw months and months and months and probably years ago, like over a year ago, definitely. But the thing is, um, since AI is advancing so quickly, then definitely we can assume that since then it has advanced a lot. There's whoever has access to this can do whatever they want with it, right? Um, Even if it's not open source, like there's a lot of things that you can do, and if it's open source, then you can't even imagine what's possible. So I think that it should be pretty easy to make. You could say indie games, like small games that don't require a lot of budget and a lot of people to make with this feature with AI. And obviously games that wouldn't just sell too much, because if it's too much, then maybe it will like overload the data centers that hold this artificial intelligence together. Because that happened like several times with OpenAI. Like a few months upon its release, that too many people were using it, and it had to sometimes tell the users to like, hey, calm down. You can maybe like come here later, because like our servers have a lot of overload, or something like that. It was like it did happen. You can look it up on Google. There's probably like some images of this this warning that ChatGPT gave to the people, like, oh, there's a lot of traffic right now, so we cannot assist you right now. So yeah, and yeah, like I think it's completely possible. Now to go to my, I would probably like in a video to make a really complete assessment of the situation, would have a script of topics that I want to talk about. But in this case, I don't have it. In almost every case, I don't have one. So I'll just get straight to the point so that I can elaborate from there. And the point is, what my prediction has been for a long time, and it is that I think the biggest level of AI that we will get to, and when that might happen, might take place, is imagine you are in a, like, with your VR headset. Let's say you're in VR. Basically, what makes you feel like you're actually inside a game, right? And artificial intelligence can create the games that you play in. It can create the land that you play in, like the environment. It can create the character voices. You see that nowadays, the video AI videos, which is huge. Like just a year ago, it was just AI imagery, and now it's AI videos. And now, like more recently, you have voices in those AI videos. So AI generated voices, like not that you put your own voice in there and then you can make yourself say anything, or speak any language. Is that you literally create AI voices from scratch. You don't even need to record yours. So with this in mind, you should be able to create absolutely any voice without hiring anybody, right? Um, and yeah, like it would be able to create the characters and also the scripts behind them, the backstories behind them, because that would be just simple text. Like you can just ask Chat the general text model or language model, ChatGPT, like, oh, create a story and create the background for each character. Like it can already do that because it's pretty simple. It's just like language, right? And then what else? I think something that could be a little bit more difficult would be the game mechanics, like the animations that it does, and the animations that will be repeated. Like for example, if it's a game about swords, you know, like the individual slashes that the character would do, right? That wouldn't be so easy to AI generate, but you could perhaps, I think so. You could have a program that generates those movements. If you have a if it don't let's say it only allows you to make games that are based around humans and human form, right? Then you can just have a program that understands the movement of a human body, and then you can build from there. It is pretty simple because there's not like so many movements that an arm can do, for example. So it shouldn't, in theory, I think these are the only things that should matter, or you should consider to completely make an average like story-based video game, or even a normal video game, like even without story, because that would be probably even simpler. And that's it. In even the music, like we don't even have to talk about the music. There's already AI generated music out there. So, and there's even you could potentially even make a program for for not AI generated but program generated music, like probably the background hitting a certain piano or whatever instrument you want, a note from that instrument at random, and basically you have completely like original music for as long as you want. That would be a very simple way to put it. There's tons of other variables that go into making modern music and music itself, like generally, and yeah, I think all the aspects that would be present into you making a video game, like I think they're doable. And if it's possible to create this in VR, then hypothetically speaking, you could basically, and this is the important point, you could live out any experience that you wanted. You could watch any single movie that you wanted to watch. You could be a character in that movie. You could play any video game that occurred to you. Like let's say you have an original idea of, oh, this boy randomly gets powers and can go to space now. Like I don't know what the fuck, like whatever. Or there's a zombie apocalypse and you're like the protagonist and you want to make a different ending for a certain video game that already exists. Like let's say for example Dying Light, one of my favorite games. Like that was like literally my favorite game. Dying Light 1, Dying Light the following, Dying Light 2. It was my first game, and I really wish that there was like a better story for it, because I was really disappointed, just like many other players, as to how bad the video game was, and with so much potential that it had, because you're literally combining a zombie apocalypse with parkour. That is super cool, right? But the story wasn't so good, and I feel like with artificial intelligence, it would be completely possible to make a new like ending for the video game, and even make a new ending, make a new story, make a better gameplay, and also you be able to play it. Like, I mean, you feel like as you're in the video game, that would basically just be VR, and you being able to have any like a unique experience. And that was basically the point of Dying Light 2, that because of the choices that you were allowed to have, that your experience would be unique. But we all know that was not eventually the case, because of reasons, life got in the way. But it would be possible for anybody to have a unique experience with the video game. I don't know what that could imply, but if it's possible, which I think it is, we don't know what could happen. And maybe it won't be so catastrophic, not because it won't have like big effects on how we play video games, but because it would be really hard for the average person to have access to this. if you have a supercomputer that can completely create a good quality game and a very complete, a very vast game by itself, with all the characters, all the scenes, all the story, all the music, everything, every environment, every animation, all of it. If you could have a computer that could do all those things, that would very likely be a very, very big computer, like a fucking data center that you would need for that, and it wouldn't be an easy task for a computer to do. So most likely that would have huge costs attached to it, like probably a console by itself, or even not even a console. I don't even think that would be even possible, or like a computer that you can actually buy. That would be completely impossible, because you know the transistors are reaching a limit in how small they can get, and even I don't even know if quantum computing can help with this, but almost nobody, no average person is allowed to have like quantum computing in their hands. So yeah, um, it would be super expensive, to say the least. My dad's calling me. I cannot answer him right now because I don't want to have to do two takes of this. I don't want to like lose. I'll call him like after I finish. It just appeared on my phone, that notification. But that's the thing. Like, it would be super expensive. It would have to be a very powerful computer, and it would consume a lot of energy. Like, you would quite literally have to own a part of the data center to be able to dedicate so much computing power to yourself and your own experience, you know? But if it's you just creating one video game that you can then copy and paste and replicate like millions of times to sell to millions of people, then yeah, maybe that will be like easier, because then people wouldn't be using AI. It would be just like playing a normal video game, but you would have created it with artificial intelligence. But the thing is, the catch is, and there's always a catch because laws of the universe, you would need a computer that is so unfathomably powerful to create a video game that even tops or even like gets close to the level that humans could create with millions and millions of dollars, like all the production costs go into a video game. If you make a video game with today's computing power and today's data that is in those artificial intelligences, it will be a very shitty video game, because you need a lot of context to train the artificial intelligence in order to be able to do these things. You remember that long ago, image generation and video generation was not as good as it is today, and that the reason why is because back then it didn't have so much data to train with, and the reason why it's good now is because it has a lot more data and a lot more videos and images from the internet that it has taken to train itself, even if it's like allowed or not allowed to use that data for training. But it has a lot more data, and it is a much larger and power-consuming artificial intelligence now, because it is producing better things, and it needs more context to be able to do these things. So unless we're able to scale down on how much energy an artificial intelligence requires to do the things that it does, we won't be able to cut down in the cost that it would potentially like imply doing these things. And what I'm saying, in more simple words, if we cannot make a computer the size of a brain that would use the same amount of energy as a brain, like a human brain, then it will still be quite difficult for the average person to have this, because you could say the average person has a fucking brain, of course, and the brain can do many things. The brain is the original supercomputer, right? And even the original data storage structure, the DNA, that is the best data structure. Like you get what I'm saying. Like people are trying to store data on DNA, and it's really effective, because that's nature's way of storing DNA. That is a completely whole different topic, which I don't have expertise on, because what the fuck, I'm an untrained 17 to 30-year-old who has not accomplished anything in his life, so I cannot be speaking too much in this matter with authority. But yes, this is basically just theory. Let's see what happens, and let's see if we can regulate so much AI that is going on in the world that could probably pose threats to the world, basically, because you never know. You never know until it falls in the wrong hands, and when it falls in the wrong hands, it is already too late. So yeah, maybe there's probably like a lot of things that I didn't say in this video that I forgot to say, but this is like a kind of a general idea of what I wanted to communicate, and yeah, this is just me having an attempt of making better unedited, uncut videos. So God bless, or whatever God you believe in, even if you're an atheist, even if you're an agnostic like me, or a philosopher. Good luck, and you got this. Wait, I look pretty over here. Nice.